it's been a tough season. It's been a long season. It's had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of differences to any other season that anyone's ever been a part of, I suppose. And, to be able to sort of get to the end of that and get the opportunity we have this weekend's outstanding and something we're really looking forward to.
It's been a different year, and not having that crowd there is in the semi-final was a weird experience. And, I guess it'll be no different on Friday night.
Look, I think every year you certainly learn a little bit, learn some different things and learn a little bit more and how to handle different situations. The biggest thing that's thrown a spanner in the works for everyone this year is the COVID situation. And, I think like everyone, we've learned a lot about, about a lot of different things and in particular just about being flexible and, having to adjust and having to think on the run a little bit. And it's really changed everything and really meant that everything's a bit insecure all the time, and we've had to deal with that. And that's coaches, that's players, that's everyone involved, and I'm sure that's the same in other walks of life as well. So the things that we've sort of learnt will change on the back of that. I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it was difficult at the start of last year. We lost a lot of experienced players and got a lot of injuries during the season, so we had to force our hands to bring a lot of the younger guys through. But in hindsight, it was beneficial for our club. They've had that year behind them now, a lot of the young ones that we've had, and with last year and this year being underneath them, and then obviously bringing Jackson Hastings into the squad this year has certainly balanced us up a little bit better. Again, recruited well for next year. So the group's been growing really nicely. It has been a long season, as Wolfie explained, but I think what we've all learned out of it has been a great experience and quite enjoyable.
Anytime you're playing in a grand final, it's a great occasion and obviously something to really look forward to and be really proud of at the same time. But the rivalry, and I've only been here 12 months, but I've learned about it really quickly, and the rivalry and the respect that's there between the two cities as well as the two teams, certainly adds to the occasion. So it's a shame that we can't have the 60,000 people there creating the atmosphere and adding to the atmosphere, but it doesn't take away from what the game's going to be one bit.
We've brought him up a few times, but Sean's personality and person that he is, he tries to go under the radar and not talk about it too often. So it's important that we play well for him. I think both clubs are in a similar situation where you want to do the best you can to send off your heroes and players that have done such great things for your club off in a strong positive way. But someone's obviously going to not get the result they want. But I think both players and Sean, especially for our club, has certainly set the bar high for who we want at the club. That following his footsteps, he's a great leader here, and he's not only has he had a lot of influence on the playing group, but also the players off the field as people. And we're going to miss him, obviously, but also, play well for him on Friday night.
It's a very similar sentiment with James, obviously. He's been a terrific player at this club for a very long time, and he's been a terrific player in Australia for a long time as well. And I've said before, he deserves every accolade he gets. He's a bloke that gives you absolutely everything that he can possibly give you in terms of passion and effort and what he throws into every training session and every game. And there's no better example for any young forward, certainly in our group, than James Graham. So we've obviously had to acknowledge it and want to acknowledge it. At the same time, a little bit like with Sean, James would like to make it very much not about himself and talk about it as little as he possibly can. So we'd love to send him out on a positive, and I know we're going to be thinking the same. And it's not just James either. Zepte has been a big player for this club in more recent years, and certainly not for quite the length of time, and had quite the influence in this part of the world. But he has been a big player for this club for a number of years and had a lot of success here as well. And we'd love to send them both off in a positive way.
I'll give Super League a wrap here because, it's been a difficult season, as we all understand, but I thought the clarity that they've given to everyone to make sure that we understand what's happening every day, every week that's unfolded in the different turns of the season, even getting down to that final part of the year where we ended up with the top six, and luckily the top two teams went through to play in the grand final. And, those individual players have been great for their clubs, but I think it's been a wholehearted effort on behalf of everyone in Super League to make sure that not only were we dealing with the different decisions and opportunities every week, but also playing great rugby. And I think both fullbacks have had a pretty good season.
We've all got through it together and got to the back end, which is great. And the players, more than anyone, deserve all the credit that we can give them. They're the ones that have taken the risk, I suppose, every week in terms of going back to work when others weren't, and going out and playing each other. And they've done that without crowds, and they've done that with a lot of restrictions and a lot of things put in place, obviously for their protection, but it does add to the load and add to the mental load and the difficulty of what's already a tough season. And they've done that really well. I think there's been some, without crowds, one thing that I don't think anyone could argue with is that the players have gone out and played just as good a footy as what they would with crowds. And they've shown that they can play with the same intensity, and a win or a loss means just as much to them. So they deserve, as I said, an enormous amount of credit. And the other thing they've done to get us to this point is show tremendous sacrifice and discipline, and to keep themselves away from getting the virus at different times and lock themselves up and make sure they're all on the field. They've done a great job. So, again, they deserve a lot of credit.
Our fans haven't been able to get to any of the games this season, so how we get to parade that around, we'll work that out, I guess, if we get that opportunity to do that. But, I think, that everyone will be watching on TV, and the best reward for your fans or our fans would be a great performance and a win. So we'll focus on getting that right first, and then, that next part will take care of itself.
And look, one thing that's probably been forgotten a little bit is that the clubs have all done it really difficult through this period as well. And one thing that's held the clubs together is the fact that fans have stuck by the clubs and supported us through that. And this is a way, I suppose, being able to be in a grand final is certainly a way that we can say thank you. And being able to win a grand final would make it an even better thank you. And both clubs, we wanted to do that. And both clubs have been terrifically supported, that's for sure, by their fans. So there'll be no lack of desire there on either front. And I'm not sure how we will be able to celebrate or commiserate either way, but I'm sure we can figure something out.